You may be wondering, what is discipline? But discipline is doing something in a controlled way regardless of how you feel. I grew up in a garrison era in Jamaica where nothing around me was good. Everything was chaotic and people wake up and do anything that came to their head without any set control. Constant things happening on a daily that is not conducive to the mind and the well-being of any individual. But I survived it. And I told myself I was not going to be in this for very long. There was no structure. There was nothing that was happening around me that was good. But I grew up with a very supportive mom and grandmother. And they instilled in me certain discipline that remains with me up until today. But I acquired my own discipline because I realized that discipline doesn't matter the age. It can be in your early 20s, it can be in your middle age, and it can be in your elderly age. So I use discipline to level up my life so that I can be a better person. And what I'm going to be sharing with you today is 7 things that I use to maintain discipline in my life. And I hope you can do the same.
Evanity Star TV.
Hi, my name is Evanity Star TV, and I'm here to share with you 7 things that I use to maintain discipline in my life. So if you like my video, don't be afraid to like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell so that you can be notified of another video to come. Number 1, a lot of individuals around me was smoking. They had no prospect. They just get up, smoke, they didn't do nothing, they drink. And every time they smoke and drink, they want to give it to you. They want to make a spliff for you. They want to hand you a cigarette. They want to give you a beer. They want to give you anything that they're drinking at an early age. It doesn't matter how young you are. But I listened to the words of my mom, and it wasn't easy. I was tempted to take it because if you didn't take it, you're not a part of the crowd, and they didn't look at you to be anybody special because you didn't drink or you didn't smoke. But I stood my ground and said no, because this is not what I wanted. They offered me cocaine because that was a way to help me to study. I never see anything good come from individuals that smoke, those type of stuff. So I told myself no, and I stood my ground. Number 2, I decided to study to become a nurse, and it wasn't easy. There are times when I lay in my bed and I didn't want to go to school. I just didn't want to do certain things when I was doing my prerequisites. I just didn't want to do it. Sometimes I would want to sleep. I just say, you know what, I am not going to be doing this. I'm not going to go to school. I would lay down in my bed and then I would just get a kick. I started to look ahead of me. If I'm going to be laying in this bed, what is going to happen to me in 10 years? Look at what is happening around me. Do I want to be like these individuals walking around me without any hope, without any prospect, begging for food and all of that? So I just kicked myself up because it wasn't an easy journey. I wanted to do this. And many times I'll be going to classes to do my subjects and I didn't even have bus fare. But I up on that bus, I had to develop that discipline in order to study, to achieve that goal. And I'm telling you, I had friends around me that wanted to go out. They weren't my real friends. They knew that I was going to classes. They didn't take my studying serious. So they wanted to invite me out to go to parties and all of that. So I had to learn to say no again. Because if I go to parties, I don't know what their plans are. I had to study. I had to do what I had to do in order to achieve my goal. Because I did not want to fail my classes. Number 3, when I became a nurse, I pretended to be broke for 6 months. So I saved all 6 months' check. I lived like a pauper. I didn't care how it went because before I became a nurse, I didn't have money to spend. So at the time when I became a nurse, I said I'm going to function in that same way. And as a result of that, I started accumulating a lot. And I'm telling you, I felt liberated because I didn't have to depend on nobody for anything. I was still getting finances from my parents. My mom used to still give me money, and I used to still feel good about it, because she didn't ask me for anything. She just wanted me to achieve. And at that time, nurses wasn't getting much money. So she just wanted me to be successful. And she was very happy for me knowing that I became a nurse. And then I had my sister abroad. She usually sent money for me just the same. So I didn't have no reason to spend my paycheck. Number 4 is choosing the right relationship. In my community that I was growing up in, there was nobody around me that was influential or of any standard for me to talk to. So I had to be disciplined in knowing that this is not what I want, even though it was tempting and there was a lot of nice guys around. They would used to dress good, but their mind and intentions weren't good. I used to be envious of my friends when they used to have boyfriends, and I wanted it, but I just knew that if I did it, it wasn't going to be good for me. So I always weighed the pros with the cons, and I said, you know what, I have to be disciplined. There were times when I had the urge to do certain things, but I had to tell myself no again. I had to stand up and be strong for myself. So I developed the power of discipline without even understanding what discipline was, but I just knew that that wasn't what I wanted. Because the guys on the street go to bed with girls, and they used to come back and they used to brag with their friends and say they've been with that one and that one and that one. And all the guys used to laugh, and it was like a joke. So none of them weren't serious. So I waited until after I became a nurse when I decided to have a relationship. And that person became my husband. And when I had my relationship, I was mentally and physically ready. I was able to contribute to the relationship. I was able to feel good about myself, knowing that I was able to bring something to the table. I was feeling good about myself, knowing that when I started having my kids, I was able to provide money so that I could pay a helper in order to take care of my kids. I was able to send my kids to private school because I was financially stable. Number 5, getting enough rest is vital for the body. So I was disciplined enough to know that I had to go to bed by 9 o'clock if I wasn't working. If I wasn't working the night shift, or even before I started working as a nurse on the unit, I knew that I had to go to bed at a certain time. So I had to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I had to take my vitamins. I had to just energize myself, preparing myself for the next day. Because I had an internal alarm clock where I used to just wake up at a certain time. So in order for me to wake up at a certain time, I had to go to bed at a certain time because I had to go to school, and I never had a watch, and I never had a clock in the house. That is to show you how poor I was. So I had to go to bed at a certain time in order to achieve my wake up time. So when 5 o'clock comes in the morning, my eyes automatically popped open. So I didn't have much, but my mom was able to feed me with whatever she had, what was good. And even if I didn't have enough food, I wasn't hungry going to bed. But she made sure that we got our vitamins, whether it be vitamin C, vitamin A. So when I became a nurse, I was able to purchase the vitamin that I needed, and I got enough sleep. I was rested. I felt good. Because at that time, I had a helper. So all I had to do was to go to work and come home. So when I went to work and I come home, everything was all set for me. And I just take a shower, had something to eat, sit by for a while, and then I went to bed. Number 6, I disciplined myself to read. And because I read a lot, I was able to pass my prerequisites and move on to become a nurse. And becoming a nurse, it takes a lot of discipline in order to study and to achieve my goal. Because in Jamaica, when you're in nursing school, you cannot work and go to school. So you have to be disciplined enough to know that you have to maintain your study regimen. And that helped me to pass all my subjects and take me to nursing school. And it wasn't easy. I had to develop that discipline because I had to study a lot, because I do not know when a test was going to be coming. They don't tell you that, okay, you're going to have tests next 2 days. You come to class and they tell you, put away your books, put away your bags, we're going to have a test today. So I had to be disciplined enough to study and study hard. Because when I started the program, over 100 nurses started with me, and at the end of the program, it was like 50 something students leave back. So not that they weren't bright, but they weren't disciplined to maintain that level of studying to pass their tests, and you can't fail. You have to keep going. So I had to maintain that discipline. Seventh and final is I use meditation a lot. I used to walk and talk to myself and put myself into that meditative mode. I used to pray and ask Heavenly Father to guide me and to lead me in the path where I can gain fulfillment and to achieve whatever I want in life. So I used to ask out aloud. I used to walk out in the atmosphere and just ask Heavenly Father to help me, to guide me, to teach me, for me to do the thing that is right so that I can leave out of this madness that I'm in. Because I was in a chaotic environment, something that I didn't want to raise my kids in. And I'm just learning what it is when I became a nurse about meditation. I didn't know I was doing meditation, but I did that. That is what happened to me. I was able to maintain it. I was able to see like 6-7 years ahead of me, and I just didn't understand it. I just didn't understand. I just knew that if I didn't maintain all those steps and be persistent to achieve that goal, I would have never reached where I reached. And I always tell myself, what is going to happen to me if 7 years come and I'm still in this funk? Am I going to feel good about myself? So that was the motivation that I used to maintain the discipline, even though it was very hard for me. So guys, to maintain discipline, it's not an easy thing. And you have to know what you want in your life. Discipline is not practiced with a lot of people, and it's not easy for people to just get up and want to do things in a routine and in a pattern. They just want to get up on the slave and do any old thing. But I can tell you this, if you have discipline, you can achieve anything that you want in your life. So guys, if you like this video, don't be afraid to like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell so that you can be notified of more videos to come, guys. And if you reach to this stage in the video, what are you waiting on? Subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe if you want to have success in your life. Subscribe. Have a good day.
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string.